What's up everybody, it's your boy Digital here. So right now, this is going to be a video on how Spider-Man is back in the MCU, baby. Yo, after I saw Spider-Man Far From Home, all I knew is that I needed to see Spider-Man 3. The cliffhanger that they ended up with, spoiler alerts in this video, was one of the best things I've ever seen in the MCU. The way that Mysterio faked his death at the end, or at least that the man he was working with set it up so that the cameras could capture Peter Parker in that moment, and then they left it with the cliffhanger. It was crazy, and I'm honestly just excited to see what Spider Monkey's doing too. I mean, why is everyone— no, I'm kidding. Bye. Shouts out my boy Spider Monkey. Yo, my bad. In editing, I realized I just called this man Spider Monkey twice. No disrespect to Night Monkey, everyone. Please don't hunt me in my dreams. I just wanted to say that real quick. Okay, back to the video. But basically, the way that last movie set up this new third movie, I couldn't be more excited. I wonder who they're gonna bring into it. I've been hearing around that they're gonna bring in Kraven the Hunter. Since, you know, Peter Parker has been totally exposed in the MCU, they're probably gonna have people hunting him down since they know his true identity. I wonder what they're gonna do between Happy and Aunt May, their relationship. I feel like that's gonna be a pivotal player. We might lose one of them in this next movie, which is a theory of mine. But honestly, I just couldn't be happier about this decision. It's so sickening when you see these billion-dollar corporations fighting over millions and billions of dollars just to ruin things for the fans at the end of the day. And let's all be honest, after the restart with Andrew Garfield, we don't want to see another origin story with Spider-Man, especially with the performance that Tom Holland has been giving in these movies. It's the best one. Tobey definitely has it in my heart for being Spider-Man when I was a little kid. Spider-Man 2 is definitely one of the best superhero movies just in general of all time. But this incarnation of Spider-Man is definitely the best one I believe we're going to be able to see in a long time. It's going to be hard to capture that youthfulness that he brings, that agility, and obviously those gymnastic classes that he was hitting when he was a little kid. Now, I know most people were excited about Tom Holland and Tom Hardy, you know, the two T's, linking up together on screen for the Sony Cinematic Universe. And with everything they've been doing with Into the Spider-Verse, I think that will happen eventually. I think with the new deal that Disney and Sony have worked out, where Disney's going to be putting 25% of the income back into the movies to make them, but also receiving their 25% instead of the 5%, even though they do make 100% off the merchandising profits, which is way more than either of them are going to see off of the box office sales from these movies. I think it is a fair split. Disney and Kevin Feige in particular, they put a lot of work into these movies. The planning that it takes to do all this years in advance is definitely something that they deserve credit for. But I do want to see Venom and Spider-Man together on the silver screen. I think one thing that would be cool is if they implemented something about the Secret Wars in Phase 4, but with Avengers 5, I think they should go somewhere during that route. Ever since Civil War, they've been on a non-stop hot streak, and I think that they could keep that up if they do something with the symbiotic suit, or basically if they keep Tom and Tom together and they have a Venom and Spider-Man mashup. I think that it'll be awesome for the series. I know that at the end of Venom that they lead Carnage. I haven't seen Venom yet, but basically if they had Carnage, Venom, all the villains, the Sinister Six, and they teamed up together versus Spider-Man, or maybe they even team up with Kraven the Hunter, who knows? It's really limitless possibilities at this point. I don't know where they're gonna go forward. I don't think anybody really does. One thing that everyone's been talking about is how there's plans for Marvel to link up Captain Marvel and Spider-Man, I guess to give Brie Larson a little more of a likability factor to her, since, you know, she just shits on the audience that watches her movies constantly. But whatever, I don't think that's gonna work out for them, even though I'm sure they are grateful that they got Spider-Man back. I hope they don't go that route and make Spider-Man a sidekick to Captain Marvel. I think that would be a very big misusage of the character, and if that's the case, honestly Sony would probably be the better hands for him to be in. Anyways, I think that right now a combustion of all the characters from the MCU together helping Spider-Man, or either maybe being against him, who knows who's falling for it. In Spider-Man Far From Home, they had Nick Fury undercover as a Skrull, so is he gonna believe Spider-Man? Is he gonna be against him? Is he gonna form a group to hunt him down, just like the Sinister Six is gonna be hunting him down or something like that? Who knows? One thing that I really want to see developed and fleshed out is Spider-Man and Peter Parker's relationship with Zendaya. I'm tired of her just kind of being a flat character. In Far From Home, they did flesh her out a little bit. She does have some character traits, but besides finding the little projector from the drone and being able to expose the whole plan for Mysterio, I don't see what she really gives to Peter Parker, besides maybe he's just into that type of girl, obviously. But I would much rather than flesh flesh everything out with Ned and his relationship with Peter. Honestly, I think that's a more interesting dynamic than him and MJ. If anything, maybe make her an emotional dilemma for him, use her as a captive or something like that, have her have to escape in a situation to get to Peter, and then he's out for vengeance because they hurt the love of his life. Maybe he has to save the love of his life. I really want to see him and Ned on an adventure though together, where he has to help save him, or Ned's doing some of the tech guy type of stereotype where he's in the van, he's helping him out with the technology and stuff like that. Anything to beef up and flesh out the relationships with him and his two friends. I want to also see something with Flash Gordon. I feel like he's been a good B-roll character who pops jokes in every now and then, but I feel like they could really do something with him. I feel like maybe that's what they're working towards. He was in 2 a little more than he was in 1, and I love how he's not the stereotypical jock. He's kind of just a modern day douchebag, and I really think that fits this universe that the Spider-Man movies are stuck in. I love the vibe that they go with for like the Ferris Bueller's Day Off mixed with Spider-Man superhero movie. I think that's a great mashup. With all the other MCU movies, it's really a breath of fresh air from those, especially with like your Thors and your Iron Man. This is really something that feels more youthful, more energetic, a little more lost, a little more insecure. The other ones really feel like these characters know themselves, and even though they do go through traumatic experiences, it's not just normal life stuff that everyone goes through when they're going through puberty in their teenage years. And I think that gives these movies a relatability factor that the other ones just don't have. Not everybody can relate to being a superhero, but they can relate to being a kid and being awkward and talking to girls. I think one thing that would be awesome is if they took Peter Parker while he's in hiding, and then that's how they fleshed out those relationships. Like, he can't expose himself as Spider-Man to the world because the world hates Spider-Man, so he has to hide as Peter Parker where he's less known. Even though his face was plastered in the middle of Times Square, I think that would be a great time for them to do that. I also love how they brought J.K. Simmons back as J. Jonah Jameson, baby. Like, come on, that is a baller move. If they fumbled that bag right there and they let Sony make a new movie and they didn't have him in it, that right there would have been the biggest loss of all time, because I think that was even bigger than Mysterio's spoiler at the end. I think him coming out on the screen was something that was kept more hush and more renowned by the fans than anything that else could have happened, because who doesn't love him in the original Spider-Man trilogy? He is probably one of the best and most realistic depictions of a character from the comics to happen in that series, and they had to bring him back for this one. I love how they give him kind of a Alex Jones vibe instead of just being a journalist. He has his own web show going on. It looks like he has an internet presence. I really hope that he plays a huge factor in the third one as well, just going off for Spider-Man. And who knows, because now that he's getting older and Peter Parker isn't going to be in high school anymore, he's going to have to get a job, and it might just be at dailybugle.com. You never know. I think that's really the smartest thing that they did at the end right there, is get him to come back. And also the balding is nice touch, I might add that. I think that all wraps together with how I love how this is kind of like a modern depiction of just being a teenager these days. The way that they incorporate all of the things, the new jocks, the relationships, the technology, and they even bring the website journalists into this. Everything is just really great. I think we can thank John Watts for that. He is a good director, and I don't know if that's up to the story writers or the people who create these stories, but whoever's coming up with these ideas, I think it is great. And maybe it will be dated in a little bit, but who doesn't like a dated movie? Let's watch Gone in the Wind, right guys? No, I'm kidding, but alright, I think that's where I'm going to wrap this up. I really want to know what you guys think about Spider-Man being back in the MCU. Are you excited? Are you disappointed? Did you want to see what Sony maybe would have done in their universe? Honestly, I just want to hear your thoughts and opinions on everything, so if you want to let me know, head down to the comment section and type that out for me. As always, it is your boy Digital Ark. I appreciate you guys who come back and comment and like every single day more than you know. If you don't mind, hit that subscribe button. Also hit the bell notification to get notified every single time that I upload. I'm trying to do weekly uploads, so definitely hit that if you're interested. And as always, I love you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you around next time.